So yesterday we are discussing about the environment, the standard environment, what does it contains. So where do we create the environment? In the environment, manage all environment. In the manage all environment, we have found that standard environment is the name of the standard environment is environment shell. So in the classic version, we can copy. We have the only option to copy the environment. So we can delete from here these options. We already seen this. We can delete, we can copy, we can change the status, we can change the description, user activity, and we can connect to the any other environment. So while create the copy, we already seen while copying this what we are giving at the backend, it is going to create one info area as a info area, info objects, and info cubes. It is creating. Okay. So we are in the session BPC session. It is connected to the environment. Okay. So if you go back here. So let us go to the administration. So administration. If you want to know the exact theory of what is the environment and all that, here let us go these points. Yeah, environment in the BPC 7.5 version, we call it as an app shell. Okay. Environment, it is a group of models and it consists of one or more models and it stores all the data from each model. It contains a set of the dimensions that may be shared among in the models, and in the BPC environment is similar to an info area in BW. No objects can share across the environment. So we saw what is the no objects can share among the environments. The example we have saw the before yesterday or day before yesterday class. We have saw an example like we have created the two info areas and the two environments. One environment to the another environment, we cannot move the objects. We cannot move the objects. So that is the meaning for this. So environment is a group of models. It has once you create the environment, it will be giving the models. Models means it will store the transactional data. See here the models, the standard models we can get here. Models will get, dimensions will get. Okay. So let us see the structure here. Let us see the structure. So in the top node, assume this is an environment. Environment is like a client. In ECC, it is a client. So in BW, we call it as a info area. So in the environment, you will be having, say for example, if you take in any organization, you will be having the so many departments, right? So what are the departments normally will be available in the organization, whether it is a small organization or the big organization, you will be having some sort of departments like finance department, admin department, like finance, the finance department, right? Finance department, and we have admin department. So each department what we call in the BPC, admin department, and we have the inventory department or like stores, and we have production department, isn't it? These many departments will have, right, for a organization. Whether if say for example it is a manufacturing organization, we will be having this sort of this type of departments, right? So each department is their own capability of producing the products, like HR department. Okay, these many departments are there in BPC, yeah, in normal terminology in organization. So what we call in the BPC, for each department: admin department, stores department will procure the stores inventory, and uh, it will save the goods here, and the production department will produce the goods, and HR department will have yeah, they will manpower recruit the manpower. Admin department looking the administrative expenses kind of thing. Finance department will take care of the cash and bank activities. So for this in BPC, if I want to replicate this one in the BPC, so I can make it, I can call it is as an, what we call finance department. What can we can create, the creation we can create it is as a model, finance model we can create. And for admin and for the stores and production and HR, for each one we can create a one model. For the HR model we can create HR model. In HR model, what we will do? So we will estimate the cost. We'll estimate the cost for the manpower. In the production department, what will there? So for creation this will production model, or any we can call as a okay, production model we can create. For the stores, inventory model. So for administrative model. So each department will create one model. In the model, what we will going to assign. So what are the objects are available in the model? In the model, what will be there? So we'll assign dimensions. Model is nothing but the transactional data. In the To have a transactional data, we should require the dimensions, right? So dimensions, what is the dimensions? Dimensions contains master data. So to create a model, we should require the four types of the master data. One is that account category, and entity and time. Account category, entity and time. For to create each model, we should require mandatorily four dimensions. We require the mandatorily. What is the one is the account. Account dimension is required mandatorily. Account category and time. Entity. Say for example, this is an entity. And time. This is the time. So is this mandatory required the four dimensions for the each model? Based upon the model, we'll create the will. But for any model, there are the types of models are there. For any model, we should require the four types of dimensions. Mandatorily, we should require the four dimensions we need to assign. So what are this? Account, category, entity and time. Account, category, entity and time. It is more here, this one. Okay. So these are the four dimensions are required for each model mandatorily to create the model. That's it. So what if we understand what is the top node here? The top node is the environment is the top node. top node is like the client. Under this we have the departments we have created as the models contains the dimensions. Dimensions contains the master data, right? Master data like this we will create. We have to design the organization in this hierarchy. So if you let us look into the first of all dimensions. Okay, the dimensions contains master data. So how many dimensions do we have? What are there? Let me 1 minute. It has the system. It has structured. Hmm. Okay. Fine. So we are discussing about now the dimensions. So dimensions contains the master data. So how many types of the dimensions are there in BPC? So for this I am taking one table, dimensions, type of dimensions. Okay, types of the dimensions. Okay, dimensions, and I can write down here the types of the dimension type. For each dimension it has its own types. Okay, dimension, first one is the account dimension. Account dimension contains what does it contains? The account dimension, account dimension contains the all the GL accounts which is having in the, whether it is in the ECC. In the ECC we have all the chart of accounts. In the chart of accounts we will have the GL accounts. The GL accounts we will map to the account dimension. Okay, in the account dimension we will have all the GL accounts information with balance sheet, P&L account, okay, accounts receivable, account payable, cash, bank, inventory, all accounts will available in the account dimension. So in this account dimension, so there is a mandatory things are there, we will discuss later. So let me finish list out all the dimensions here. Account, and we have the category is the dimension. So what does it defines the category dimension? Category dimension defines the what type of the data, what type of data, what type of data are you entering? What type of data means here whether you are dealing with the how many types are there? Data, actual data, right? Actual data, budget, forecast, and consolidation. So which data are you going to deal here? It is saying that which data are you going to deal in this category dimension. So we have to maintain the dimensions list here. Dimensions members we have to maintain here. So actual data, budget data, forecast, and consolidation we have to maintain in the category dimension. So in the account dimension we list out the all GL accounts, all GL accounts, say from chart of accounts, COA, whether it is a group COA, whether it is having the ECC or it is having in any Oracle system, we will bring all the accounts information to the account dimension. Coming to the next entity, what is the entity dimension? Entity dimension is nothing but it contains the all company codes, your all company codes information. So for example I am having the entity Asia Pacific. The Asia Pacific, under that I am having China, India, Japan. So this is in a hierarchy I am having. I am India, China, I am having the entities like this, and I am also having the group. My group companies, my subsidiary companies, my holding companies, all the list of accounts will, all the list of entities will be placed here. All my company codes information available in the entities, all my company codes information. So let me, yeah, put like this. The entities means we know that all the company codes information, account and time. In the BPC, the time, there is no day wise reports we will not maintain. We will maintain the time dimension like year and month, year and month, like 2018.01, 2018.02, comma 2018.03. So and 2018 quarter wise also, 2018 Q1, like this will maintain the data Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 year wise. We will maintain the time dimension members. Here the master data contains. Okay, and we will have one more. We will have account, category, entity, time, and flow. Let me just drag this here. Hmm. Let me create a duplicate here. Okay, so we'll continue from here. So next one is flow. Flow dimension. Flow or subtable dimensions. So flow dimension, what does it contains? It contains the what is my opening balances, balances, closing balances. Okay, additions, and my increase and decrease. This kind of information is available in the flow dimension. So exactly what is the flow? So you were saying the increase, opening and closing, all these things, right? Say for example, if you took an machinery account, say for example, in accounts I am having my ledgers, machinery account. In the machinery account I am having the debit and credit. So balance carry brought forward. Okay, carry forward, or we can say the carry forward. To balance carry forward, I am having last year balances, I am bringing to the this year account. So in this account I am bringing the last year closing balances as a opening balances in this account, like 500 is there. So during the year, purchases purchase of the machinery I have purchased additionally, so 1000. So I have return return outwards, written I have returns. There are some I have purchased, but that machinery is not working. I just sent out. So that is called a return outwards. Purchase returns. You can say the purchase returns like 200. So and closing balance. Closing balance. I am having this one. So how much the closing balance? 1300. 1300 is the closing balance. So what is the total of this? 1500, and the 1500 is the total balances. Sorry, this one. So if you look at here, this is we call as a ledger account. Ledger account for the machinery account. Ledger account for machinery account. So if you are observing here, what we have, debit and the credit balances. So debit means whatever we have the purchased, whatever we have the balances, that is the debit balances, the machinery. And what is the closing balance? We have the closing balance of this. So if you look at this one, balance, carry forward, purchases, purchase returns, closings, what are the edges are there, right, in this account? Those we call those we are using as the flows. This is one of the flow, and this is another flow. purchase additions is the flow, and purchase returns is one of the flow, and this is closing balance is one of the flow. These are all flows. These are all the flows. I will maintain the numbers in the flow dimension. So for what is the use of the flow dimension? The flow dimension we can use in the business rule tables. We have the business rules tables. So without the flow, the business rules tables will not. Business rule table means it is a condition calculating tabular format. So we use in the mostly in consolidation. Mostly in the consolidation. So your keys, these are called as in ECC what we call transaction keys. The movements, the transaction keys movements 101, 102. Some movements are there, right, in ECC. In Ramakrishna, you know very well, right? In there is a movement types. Movement types are there. Like that, we have in flow. The flow information we have for the purchase, increase, flow, opening balance, closing balance is maintained in the flow dimension. Okay. Next one is that what is the dimensions? Next one we have group. Group Group is the dimension and the scope is the dimension. What is the group and the what is the scope? Group and the scope are the same. Like if you see here the group dimension, group ABC is the group company. Under this I am having C1, C2, C3. Okay, under this C1, 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 C2 and C3, and here E1, and the below this E1 and E2. So here this is this level ABC group I am having, and the same way I am having XYZ group, G1 and G2. So I am having some hierarchy here, G2 and G3. Forget about this. So this is one of the group, and this is the one of the group. So it is having, then this is C1 is a part of ABC group, C2 is a part of ABC group, C3 is a part of ABC group. What are all? These are all entities. These are all entities which you have in like holding companies, subsidiary companies. Some companies will invest to the other companies. So what kind of the information, what kind of the ownership it has, what kind of the ownership percentage, what kind of the control it has. So this kind of information, this kind of companies information is available in the group. Group or GRO, UP group or scope dimension. So this is useful in the where it is useful, it will useful in the consolidation. When you are dealing with the consolidation, at that time we'll use the scope or the group dimension. It contains the holding company information, subsidiary companies information, sister concern, joint ventures, equity, all the all the companies which is dealing for your organization, that will be available in the scope dimension. In the scope dimension. So this dimension is required for the consolidation purpose. Consolidation purpose. So here group company, group companies, holding companies, subsidiary companies, information. Okay, and coming to the audit trail. Next one is the audit trail dimension. What is the use of the audit trail dimension? Into here, Audit trail is nothing but, say for example, uh, so audit is completed for your organization. So auditor will come to the our office and asking the all whatever the accounts receivable, all the accounts receivable information, journals, accounts receivable journals, accounts payable, accounts payable journals. He is asking some information about the these two. So how can we trace out the journals? These entries we need to trace out with the bulk of in the bulk of the books. So how can we trace out this information, and I need to give to the auditor. So for this, in ECC we have what is called data types. Data types are what is it? Document types, document types, DR, DA, DZ, KR, KZ, KR, KZ, KA. So these are the document types means. So here the accounts receivable information, accounts payable information will be classified as a below DR, DA, DZ, KR, KZ, KZ. According to this, by seeing this DR, DA, we can trace out the information of the account receivables and account payables. Like that, auditor will ask you to the post some adjustment entries, adjustment entries, adjustment entries, the adjustment entries, so that we somebody has posted the adjustment entries. For this, they have for adjustment entries they have created the one type of the document type. With by seeing that document type, they can know those are the adjustment entries. So whenever we require the information, easily we can find out, we can get the adjustment entries document type, and we can trace out the information very easily. So like that, we have an audit trail dimension. In the audit trail dimension, we will give the members. We will just enter the members here. What are the members? Whether I need to trace out the input members, manually input. Okay, and automatic entries I want to trace out automatic entries, and comments I want to know in the system, comments by comments by comments, and the documents, uh, comments and the documents, journals, journals. Okay, and data loads, data upload, data uploads. So these are there are the many ways to enter the data in the BPC, right? So we can manually input in the input schedule, automatic some entries will pass, some comments will pass, journals we passed, data uploads we will do. So these kind of activities we'll do in the BPC. To trace out the each activity, we need to define the one dimension member in audit trail. We need to define one dimension member in the audit trail. So audit trail is used to trace out the information, and it will classify the information of the inputting the data. Those kind of information is available from the audit trail. Like if you want to trace out the journals, manual input, adjustments, adjustments, um, like adjustments, data entry, what do you mean, data manager entries. So we can find out from the audit trail information. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, okay, fine. Up to here, how many dimensions are there? account, category, entity, time. 4. Flow, group, audit trail. What I'm missing? Intercompany. Intercompany is the dimension. So what is see the let us see the what is the intercompany dimension. Intercompany. Intercompany dimension is nothing but, say for example, you have a group company. Group company. So under group you have the companies entities we have like E1, E1, E2, E1 and E2. So within the group, what I am doing, I am just transferring the I am transferring the goods. Like I am selling my, I am selling my goods to E1, E2, E2. Here what I am doing, so goods to E2, the value is like 500. It is like the 500. So what is the in the E2 what I written? Purchase the goods from E1, right? Like this we write, right? 500. So here these are the internal transfers. We call as the internal transfers. COGS, like COGS to the E1. So while let us take this entry, while transferring this within the group, there is some margin is available. So without margin, nobody will do the business. So what is the margin means? Profit. The profit will be available. So within the group, if the entities are selling their goods to the out of the organization, like X1 is the third party. If they are selling the goods from this company to the E1 to the X1, there is some margin will be there. It is accepted. But even is selling the goods to the E2 within the organization. Within the organization, if selling the goods means we need to write the records cost to cost. Cost to cost only we need to record the transactions. We cannot add the profit for internal sales. This is an input, this is an output, finished goods. Say for example, this is a finished goods. Okay, fg is useful as a input, raw input for the E2 company. E1 has produced the goods, finished goods. That finished goods is required to the E2 as a input, and also this finished goods can sell to the X1 outside of the company. So for selling this X1, we can record with profit. That is acceptable. But we are selling the goods E1 to the E2 with profit, we cannot accept. So that within the means we are selling the within the group, then what will be happen? The sales transactions will occur more. It will showing the duplicate transactions. So that what will happen once the transactions are internal transactions are happen, our financial statements show bigger values. There is a no true and fair value of the one financial statements. For this purpose, we need to eliminate the transactions within the group. We need to eliminate the transactions. What are the internal sales? What are the sales, purchases, market values, profits, COGS cost with plus profit. So many transactions will happen between the E and internal companies. We need to eliminate those entries. For this purpose, we need to maintain all the entities information, intercompany's information in the intercompany dimension. This intercompany dimension we need to maintain that master data in this dimension. Okay, so this is an intercompany information. So how do you maintain? Like there is an intersection between, say for example, here India, Asia specific I have defined, right. Here I am having the Japan, India, and China. So for each entity, I need to maintain as a intercompany here. I underscore Asia, I underscore China, I underscore China, I underscore India, I underscore Japan, I underscore Japan. So we need to maintain the intercompany information in the intercompany dimensions. Intercompany dimensions. Okay. Okay, fine. So here the account dimension is 1. This is 2. This is 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. And what is one more dimension I left? What is the dimension? 9 dimensions should come: account, category, entity, time. Anybody can guess? That is currency. I left the currency dimension. 8. Ninth dimension is a currency dimension. What is the currency? So we need to maintain each entity. We are maintaining here the entity, right? And against of the entity, we need to define the what is the currency. What is the currency in China, India? What the currency will maintain? INR. From Japan, dollar something. I don't know what JPN something. China and dollars. Okay, US USD dollars. We need to maintain the currency for the each entity. The currency we have RPT currency and input currency we have. Currency, RPT currency, and input currency. What is the RPT currency? What is the input currency? RPT currency we define the which is the reporting currency. And input currency will define all the entities information in the input currency. All the entities currency information maintained in input currency, and RPT currency will define which is the reporting currency, So these are the 9 dimension, and the 10th one is user defined dimension. Like user defined dimension. What is the user defined dimension? Which is not following above 9 categories, dimensions categories. Say for example, product will not fall on above dimensions. Materials, okay, brand. These are the user defined dimensions we can create. So each dimensions, it does have the types. It have the types of the dimension. What are the types? What are the types? Account dimension will define as a, right? A. Category C. Entity E. Time T. ACET. So to define the model, these 4 dimensions are mandatory required. We need to define the 4 dimensions to create a model, right? Second one, this one, flow, yes. Group G. Audit trail D. Intercompany I. Currency R. User defined U. So these are the dimension types. These are the dimensions. So these are the 10 dimensions we'll use in the planning and consolidation. Planning and as well as consolidation models we are going to use this one. So these are the informations. If you have any doubts in this, you can ask me. You can ask me. So why we want to use this account dimension category? If you have any doubts, entity, time, scope, group, audit, trail, intercompany, and currency user defined dimensions. So each dimension each dimensions it has the properties. We'll define the properties. So if we look at this in the system, we have the dimensions. The dimensions we have, you can see here. So what it is saying that something we will need to connect one more time. Let us log off and log in, log out. Administration dimensions. Here, see here, this is the account dimension. Account dimension, it contains all the account dimensions. This is information which is uploaded from the ECC system. Which is uploaded from the ECC system. This is dimension members: balance sheet, total assets, fixed assets, land and building, current assets, accounts receivable, cash, total liability and equity. Uh, 1 minute, 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah, category dimension, it defines the what type of the category we have: actual or plan, consolidation, forecast. We define only the two members here, dimension members. We call here the master data dimension members. And go to the entity. If you go to the entity, I said that entities information, each entity does have the currency, right? Here the currency is the property point. Each entity: India INR, Sri Lanka LKR, China CNY, France EUR, North America USD. So this information is available, entities information, and it has have the some hierarchy also. It has, see the hierarchy it has. See C1000 India under the C4000. What is the C4000 here? Asia is the C4000. Like this we will maintain the hierarchy. Okay, currency properties. And go to the flow dimension. It is having the flow dimension, it is having the see the change in the scope, change in the method, decrease profit and loss from the current year, increase opening balances, other movements. I told no. What is the flow? Say for example, if you take any example of the machinery account here, it does have the opening, purchases, closing. So this is the flow. What are the the movement types? These are the types, movement types we call as a flow. The flow information has put here. Next, input flow, input currency. Input currency, what we maintain here, input currency will maintain the all the currencies, all the list of the currencies will maintain here. If you look at here, AUD, AUD is one of the currency, Australian dollar. And if you look at the USD, USD is the currency, US dollar. Here I said the reporting currency, the reporting property is there. Here I said the Y means it is a reporting currency. If you look at here the EUR, EUR is also a reporting currency. So which is not having the reporting Y, that is a local currency. We call as local currency. Australian dollars. Singapore or SGN. Let me take the SGN. SGN is the AUD. Let me go back. Yeah, AUD got. See, AED is we are not defined anything under the reporting property. So these are all local currencies: AFN, ANG, ARS, AUD. Okay, these are all local currencies. And if you go to the reporting currency here, RPT currency. RPT currency is the we can define which is the group currency or what is the local currency. Local currency here, that currency type is L, means local currency. UR and the USD are the reporting currencies. We had defined in the reporting currency also. This reporting currency will use in the finance model, and the input currency will use in the different model, which is R and rates model. So there is a, when we talking about the models, when we are discussing about the models, at that time we will discuss the difference between RPT currency and input currency. Okay, and we have intercompany. Intercompany means trading partners. Trading partners information. See here, for each entity I have defined as a I underscore C1000, I underscore C2000, C3000. Here entity I have defined here. Against of this, entity property has been updated. Intercompany. There is a intersection integrity between the entity and intercompany, entity and currency, currency and category and time. For each account, there is an integration to the other dimension. We'll discuss more on that. What is the left hand? Audit trail, scope, group dimension, right? The group means scope dimension here. Here we have defined the no scope. Only one member have maintained in this scope dimension. So time dimension, this is the time dimension which is having the time dimension members. 2016 01 02 03. Description, base period, these are the properties. These are the properties, the system defined properties. We'll maintain the dimension like this, hierarchy wise we can maintain. If you look into the hierarchy, see here 2017 dot total means total, dot 12 means full period. In the period we have the Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 January, February, March. Q3, Q4, Q3 and Q4. We have information. So this is about the dimensions. This is about the dimensions. If we have any doubts, you can ask me. So how do we create the dimension means go and click on the new button. New. There is an ID, new ID account. Say for example, I am creating as a entity is the dimension. Entity already there. That is the reason it is giving the red mark. We need to keep something else different, like S underscore entity is also there, R underscore B underscore entity. B underscore entity. Entity is there. Entity description. What is the type we need to give here for entity dimension? E. We need to take the E, right? Create. So it is creating the dimension. These are all properties. Dimensions contains the properties and dimension members. These are the standard properties. Control level, control currency, currency. These are all the system defined properties. We call as the properties. So where is that one? B underscore entity. Where did you define this one? We'll go here. Yeah, this one. B underscore entity. If you look at this, there is no members. There is no dimension members. So if you want to add any dimension member, click on add. like entity C1 C uh, 111 or 4 ones, like India. Currency here INR. Save and process. If you click on the save and process, it is defining, do you want to take an offline? You always say no. If you are clicking the yes, it will take to the offline and it will come to the online. So the environment it will take into the offline mode, and then once it is saved, it will come back as a online mode. So we always prefer to click on the no button. So dimension is processed. So go back. Here the entity. If you want to look at this member at the back end, you can look at here. You can look at the BW system. Go to the what is the transaction code? RSA1 is the transaction code. Where is the B underscore entity here? Where did we define this one? Uh, B underscore entity. B. Yeah, this is the B underscore entity, right? So if you want to see the information on this, uh, right click, display data. This is the display data. Delete master data and display data. You have to carefully. You have to click on these buttons. Display data. Once you display data, select for the field for output selection. This one. If you click this, okay. Select all. Execute. This is an execute button. Again execute. 2 times execute. So what is there? C111. Where did it was? Where from where it was came? It was came from the BPC. Automatically it is entered here. Automatically it is entered. Calculation flag is N. Cal C2 INR. The currency is INR. Currency is INR. Okay. 1 minute. I have to take this one. So this is what the information. How the information we need to know. What is this? This is master data, right? What we call in BW, account B underscore entity, info object. The triangle mat symbol we call always to remember info object characteristics. What does it contain? It contains the master data. It contains the master data. We cannot update the from here itself. ఇక్కడ నుంచి నేను update చేయట్లేదు. We need to get from BPC. Where is the BPC? BPC is at the front end. You need to define whether you need to define the list of the members. You need to define the hierarchy. From here onwards, you need to get the information. See, if I am updating one more thing, like you see, 222 China currency. Currency is not a mandatory property here, but I am defining save and process. No. Once I define this, it will update it. Where does it will update? It will update in the BW system. In the BW, where it will update? In the info object. It will create as a info object member. Field for output selection, select all, execute. See here, see, this was China currency C222 is the entity. So like this, we can create the list of the members and hierarchy too. Okay. So I'm just stopping here. Tomorrow we will connect at 9:30. Tomorrow we will connect at the 9:30. The time is 9:30. You need to connect. Uh, so some other persons also come in, so that we'll follow the 9:30 to 10:30 class. Sham, do you have any doubt?
Yeah, no doubts. Is it also possible to share the PPT you are preparing or only at the end?
No. I will share the recording to you so that PPT also I will share to you.
Okay.
In recording, you will get anyhow whatever's done. If you want the PPT, I can send.
Yeah, PPT is faster to go through, like the theory, you explain the theory parts today.
Yes.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah, it can help you to you. So one class you can at the glance you can get the things. Uh,
Yeah.
right. Sure, definitely I will share this. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shyam.
Thank you.
గోపి నువ్వు ఉండు గోపి.
సార్ చెప్పండి సార్.
గోపి నువ్వు ఉండు. క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే
రామకృష్ణ గారు నిన్న
ఓకే
క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటున్నాను. వాళ్ళు కొత్త వాళ్ళు వస్తున్నారు. మీరు
ఓకే
ఉంటే ఉన్నా పర్వాలేదు, మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నా పర్వాలేదు, నాకేం ప్రాబ్లం.
ఓకే ఓకే
ఓకే.
ఓకే.
సో yeah. Okay, is there any other members want to join, or this is Bobby? So let me wait for 2 minutes. Let us wait for any other members are joining. Let us start. Okay, just give me the 2 minutes of time. Yeah, Hari is there. Sweta is there. Okay, fine. So at first class we have discussed about uh, what we have discussed. At the time we have discussed what is the BPC and how the BPC has come into the picture, and what are the versions are available in the BPC. So let me take out that one presentation. Yeah, this one we are discussing, right? So BPC, before the BPC there is an SCM, is an strategic enterprises management. SCM is the strategic management. So it is having the like same functionality in the BPC. SCM BPS. SCM BPS means strategic enterprises performance, strategic enterprises management, business planning and simulation, where it will do the same planning functionality in the year of the 2004. So, and also for the consolidation, some BCS is for the consolidation. So before coming into the BPC, we have the two tools for the SAP. So these are not friendly users to the finance users. So it has some lot of complications to they need to develop any kind of objects. They should always depends upon the IT consultants and time consuming, and the maintenance cost also huge. So for that reason, the financial users are waiting for one good product for the planning and consultation. At the time, there was an office suite has came into the picture. Like office suite is EPM, Enterprises Performance Management. The Enterprises Performance Management deals, it is an office suite having the many instances like BPC, PFC, and FIM, intercompany, PCM, spend, and data disclosure management. So this now we are discussing here the BPC. BPC is a part of the EPM solutions. EPM solutions. In the BPC, what we will do? We will do the planning, budgeting, forecasting, and consolidation. So, what is the planning, budgeting, forecasting? This terminology will going to know in the coming classes. In the coming classes, but if in the EPM we have the other tools like BFC, other tools called BFC. BFC means business. Somebody is starting business. Uh, My side 3 members only. Okay, good. Hmm. Let Is it recording? Yeah. Okay. Finance business. BFC means business objects financial consolidation. So where there is a core level complex level of the consolidations are happening at that time, for that entities they will implement the FC. We call it is an FC, financial consolidation. So, and we have the tool called the FIM, financial integrated management. So what it will do, what does it do means it does it will bring the data from one instance to the another instance, like BW to BW to BFC, and ECC to the BFC, like some deployer, some deployer type, some instance third party from open source. This is kind of the open source to get the data from source to the target. The financial information management will help us, and this is also part of the EPM tools. And coming to this intercompany is an when we do the consolidation, some intercompany eliminations will happen. At the time, the intercompany eliminations, for that we need to store those data in the separate tool, separate application we call as intercompany ICS, intercompany system. And the product cost management and disclosures management and some other tools are there. That also is a part of the EPM. So this is about the EPM. EPM is nothing but to bridge the gap between the financial users, okay, between the financial users and IT consultants. So what is the gap means? There is a gap like any information if they want to do at their own, the financial users, they always depends upon the IT consultants. So to just to overlap there, to fulfill the gap in that area, the EPM solutions has came into the picture. So here you know that the BPC has came from the Hyperion tool, and it was acquired by the SAP, which is product done by the Outlooks of people. It has the two versions, two flavors, MS version and NetWeaver versions. So we already discussed about this one in the previous classes. This is also we have discussed, like the what is the source and NW system, what is the MS version. NW system, which is in all the SAP products like ECC, SAP BW, SAP BPC. Here the system is only third party system, which is having the non-SAP system, for the data stores. Here we are using the Oracle, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards. Those for this purpose, MS versions we will use for the BPC to get the data from non-legacy system to the BPC system. So hope you this also you understand. This is an head. So coming to this, maybe you are not there here. Let me take a one PPT here. Just to stop me if you are already you already have the class. Okay, I don't know whether I was covered this topic, types of data. types of data we have. What is the types of data? So how many types we have the data in any application? If you look at any application itself, whether it is not in a BPC or any other SAP product, whether it is an application, it contains the two types of the data, right? What is the two types of the data we have? We have the one is the master data, one is the transactional data. What is the master data and what is the transactional data? This is the transactional data and this is master data. So what is master data? What is the transactional data? Can anybody can tell? Hmm? Anyone? Can you give me a clue on this? What is this? So say for example, I am having this is in a format, right? So this format I am having customer ID, okay, customer name, customer name, type of the customer, type of the customer. So what is the customer ID? I am having the customer ID is 123. Customer name is XYZ. Type is A1. Okay. And customer ID is 456 ABC A2. So here what does it is having in this format? What it is having in this format? We are having the three types of information. The information was customer ID, name of the customer, and type of the customer. So altogether these three we call as 1 minute. Combination of these three we call as the what we call customer master data table. Customer master data table. Master data table. So what is this customer master data table? The combination of these three, each one we call as a field. This is we call as a these three we call as a fields, right? These three fields we call customer master data table. So say for example in the layman language in general topic, if you get an Aadhaar card, what does it contains? It contains your the name of ID, Aadhaar number, address, PIN code, gender, all the information. What is it is? That is the master data information. Your identical master data information, right? So you can assume that what is the master data means, whether if you are opening the bank account, in the bank account what they maintain, bankers will maintain the data. What type of data they will maintain? Your name, your father name, gender, address, your Aadhaar number, everything they will maintain in their uh, their systems, in their applications. That is we call as the master data. Okay. This is master data. Coming to the transactional data. What is the transactional data? The transactional data that contains the same, like if I was taking this table, where is this table? This table I'm having the 5 tabs. let us take file. Okay, here I am having the customer ID, customer name, okay, quantity, rate, amount, rate and amount. I am having these things. So what is the customer ID? 123 is the customer ID, XYZ is the customer name, and quantity is the 10, and rate is then 50, value is the 500. Okay, and this is 123 is the customer, ABC is the customer name, customer ID is like 456. Okay, here the 20, here the 10, 200. Okay, this one I am having some information in this. Say for example, what is these things? First, what is the customer ID and what is the customer name? These together, this is both we call as, what can we call, reference of master data, reference fields of the master data, reference fields of master data, reference fields of the master data we call, and we call quantity, right? Quantity, rate, and what is this amount? This amount we call as, what we call, this is we call as the statistical value, statistical values. So what is this one? What is this table? This table we call as sales master data, sales transactional data, sales transactional data. So the transactional data table is like this, like, so what it is, the reference fields of the master data plus statistical values we call as an transactional data. So here the major difference is this: when you go and purchase in any Reliance Fresh or any Centro, we will get in some bill, right? So once you paid in cash, they will give you the bill. In that bill, what it will be there? Your customer ID, date, and the quantity, rate, and value. It is there, right? That slip. It is, you are getting the transactional data slip, right? In general layman language, that is the transactional data. So here, if you compare this, the quantity, rate, amount is the statistical values along with your referential field master data we call as a transactional data. So if I am mapping this master data and transactional data into our BPC system, into our SAP system, we are talking about this terminology, we can talk like this. Let me take one more tabular format. Let's see. Insert the column, right? Okay. So let me take this one. So this is we call as the BPC terminology. We are entering into the BPC terminology. BPC terminology. So in ECC terminology, this is a generic, and this is SAP BW terminology, SAP BPC terminology. So coming to here, the master data, the master data contains the fields. Okay, here in generic ECC, in the ECC we have the master data, right? So what master data we have? General accounts master, what is that? Accounts payable, vendor master data, customer master data, GL master data, cost center master data, internal order master data. Okay, these many types of master data are available in ECC also. So any application, this master data in SAP BW, what does we call? Where do we store in SAP BW? In SAP BPC, what does we call and where do we store? Okay, so in SAP BW info we call as a info objects. We store the master data in info objects. Info objects, we store the master data. Okay, and coming to this BPC, where do we store the master data? Dimensions. We stores in the we stores in the dimensions we store. So dimensions contains the master data. Master data dimensions contains. Okay. So what about the fields? The fields we call the fields. The field names we call in the SAP BW attributes. Attributes. In the BPC properties. Properties. The field names, the properties. Okay. So here the master data we are defined in the BW system and BPC system. So why I am referring the BW here? What is the use of the BW for BPC? You may be have any question here, right? In BPC, what I am creating the objects in the BPC, it is going to create automatically one object in the BW. So I can say this is one. I can do like this. This is BPC. Okay. As the BPC, I am having. What is this? This is an engine. This is an what is this? This is one of the database. I call this is BW. SAP. This is BPC. This is BW system. So what I am doing here, if I am creating anything, any objects that will go and save in the BW system. Why it is saving in the BW system? Why? Because it is acting as a database. The BPC database is BW. In BW we have some space for the BPC to store our objects. That is the reason I am referring the BW system here. That here we need to understand the concepts, terminology in the BW system. So here up to here we finished the master data. Coming to the transactional data. What we call where the transactional data will define in the BW system. So coming to the first in the BPC, where do we define? We define the terminology we call as the model. The model we define. Model means it will store the transactional data. Dimensions means it will store the master data. Here, in coming to the BW system, what we call it is info cube. We define our transactional data in BW system in our info cube. In here, models. Understand? Right. This is info cube. This is the model. So this is the major difference between the master data and the transactional data. The terminology here. Say for example, for this in generic purpose, I'm just inserting the one row above. I want to save all these elements in the one folder. What I need to do? I need to create a one folder. This is a folder. Folder contains the master data fields and transactional data fields in generic. It is in generic specific and specifying in the generic. So like that. So I want to save all these objects in the BW at one place. I require one folder. That folder name I call as a info area. Info area. I call it as an info area. Right. So here also in BPC we need to save all the dimensions and models at one place. Say for example, this is a client in the BPC. So what we call in the BPC environment shell. It is a standard environment shell. It contains the dimensions, properties, models, all the objects related to the BPC. This is like an example of a client in the ECC, client in ECC. Info area, we call as info area in BW. So this is the information about the BPC technology, and we have to learn about, mostly we discussed about the three parts here: master data, transactional data, and at the top level, the folder level, we call as here environment shell. So clear here? Do you have any doubts? So that you can raise your questions. You're always welcome. You can discuss here itself. If you clear, we'll go to the next topic. Hmm. So what are the advantages in the BPC? Say for example, in the previously I talked about, in the previous sessions we talked about that there is a native Excel. Financial user always depends upon the native Excel, right? But native Excel is having the many problems, like there is no guarantee of the data, there is no audit trail, and there is no security conditions, and anybody can enter into their sheets. They can change their formulas so that the entirely the data will, there will be no and true and fair value of that data. So for that reasons, financial users are just looking for one sophisticated tool. That tool is in BPC. Why it was in friend become as a friendly user means the native Excel, native MS Office has been attached, has been embedded to the MS Office, embedded to BPC. So it was embedded to the BPC. So this was attached to the BPC MS Office. So MS Office contains the MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So we always used to connect the Excel. That Excel, that name we call in the BPC, what we call that is EPM Office add-on. That is EPM Office add-on. EPM Office add-in. This one we call. So that is the reason, once it is embedded, the system itself it is embedded, there is, we can trace out the data, we can put in security conditions, we can know the who has entered into the system and what IP address, we can put an audit. So many restrictions we can give once it is embedded to the BPC. Then there is a 100% guarantee for the data for the financial users. So this is the structure. Let me show you the system. So how do we need to connect to the BPC? How do we need to connect to the BPC? Let me show you the system. So how do we connect? So we will be taking the remote desktop connection from the administrator. So once we took the connection, we need to enter the Windows R. The Windows R means run prompt will get. So here you need to type the MSTSC. MSTSC is the command prompt. Like click OK. You will given here the computer name is provided by your administrator. Once you click on this connect, it will be asking your credentials. This is my username and I am providing my password here. Once I was entered here, once I click here, I'm just entering into the remote desktop connection. So once I entered, already I was logged in. I'm just log out and I'll show you how do we need to connect the system. This is the remote desktop. Once I connect, this is the desktop which is looking here. We have the BPC URL is in Notepad, is there, right? So BPC we will connect to the web portal system. We will connect this one. We have to take this one, copy, and go to the Internet Explorer. Go to the Internet Explorer, click on this, and paste that URL in this box. So once you connect this, you will get an portal. You will get an web page. So here we need to give our credentials, which is provided by our administrator. So once I was entered here, I entered into the BPC system. This is the BPC front end page 10.1 classic version. So we have the many tabs here like library, activities, consolidation, administration, reports, document. We always to deal with the administration part for any application. The starting point is to administration point. So we need to click on this administration. Once you click on this, we'll getting some objects like dimensions and model, security, rules, business process flows, audit, features. These are the objects, administrative part. Okay. So we are discussed about the dimensions and the models. So how and the environment, three parts. Environment is in a folder, right? This is in a folder, and the dimensions are the master data and models are the transactional data. So dimensions, it looks like this. Once you click on this, we have defined these many dimensions. This is the IDs. Say for example in ECC ID system, in IDs we will have a predefined company codes, predefined company codes data. So like that we have predefined company, predefined client is there. The client name we call as the environment shell. Environment shell. From that environment shell we are getting all this data. This is the master data. The master data we call here the store in the dimensions. The dimensions contains this is the data. Account is the dimension, it is containing the master data, which is where I am getting this one. What is the source? The source could be the ECC. The source could be the ECC or non-SAP Oracle system or an Hyperion system or any other third-party system. I can get the data from SAP and non-SAP data. I can store it as a master data in this account dimension. So what does it contains? It contains all the accounts, your company's accounts. Accounts means all the chart of accounts. The chart of accounts contains your group of your GL accounts. Your GL accounts means balance sheet, total assets, liabilities, cash, bank, retained earnings, sales, purchase. So these transactions will happen at the day-to-day level, at your organization level. Okay. So is the coming to this model. The model contains the is the models. Some are the predefined models, or the consolidation is rate model and the sales model, finance model, ownership model. These are all come along with your instance, with your environment shell. You can create a new model, you can delete an existing model. Okay, so you can modify these models. This modified content, what does it contains in this model? Model contains the dimensions. So what is this? These are the dimensions. We have assigned some of the dimensions to these models. So models contains the transactional data. Up to this point, you need to understand dimensions contains the master data. Environment shell contains the all the objects, dimensions, models. This is the environment. So once you click on this, you are getting the manage all environment here. If you click on this manage all environment, these are all your company codes. Bobby has left. Who's that? Bobby. Okay, fine. Bill. These are all called as environment shells, environments. These environments we have created, somebody has created for the practice purpose. So if you look at the real time, you cannot real time system, you will find only the one environment. You will not find the many environments. But this is the practice system purpose. Somebody has created for their practice purpose, and so I said no, there is a predefined environment shell. That name is called environment shell. This is the standard one. Standard one environment shell. Okay, this is the standard environment shell. So we can copy the environment shell from that. We can connect that. We can copy. We can delete. So many things we can do with the environment shell. So and this is the front end system. Once I log out, the same the BW we have an backend BW system is there. Backend BW system. What is that backend BW system? B backend. This is the logon. If you this is SAP GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. If you click on this graphical user interface, logon. Click on this BPC user. Okay. Once you click on this, you are getting into this BW system. In the BW system, you need to, if you want to look at your the BPC objects, there is one transaction code. The transaction name of the transaction code is RSA1/1. I am keeping to remain this screen as it is. After a slash n, RSA1. RSA1 is a transaction code to see your objects, BPC objects. The BPC objects defined in the info provider tab. If you click on the data flow or history, if you are placing and looking your objects, you cannot find out. Place your cursor in the info provider. Okay, in the info provider, once you place, you get an, these are the objects. Wherever you are seeing some /cpmb, /cpmb defines as a technical name. This is a BPC technical name. And others technical name is that IA, JDA. These are the BW objects. These are not BPC objects. The BPC objects are only which is having the /cpmb. Those are containing the BPC objects. So what does we have? What does we have here observed? The technology in the BW, we have the starting one is info area, right? This is the info area where you are seeing the double diagonal symbol. This is info areas. These are all info areas in the BW, whether it is in a BPC info area or the BW info area. Here see, you are observing the business planning and consolidation, which is the place provided for the BPC in BW system. This is the place. Under this will contain the number of info areas. Info areas. This is one of the info area, right? See here example, our info area is BPC class. BPC class info area, double diagonal symbol, and this is the cube and this is info object. This is a cube and info object. Info object means it contains the master data where it is having the triangle symbol on the top of the mat symbol. Okay, this is the cube symbol which contains the transactional data, right? Whatever I have defined there, when if I am creating any environment, it will create as an info area. I am creating the dimension, automatically it will create the info object. When I am creating the model there in BPC, it will create as a, what it will create? It will create as the cube. This is the cube. Okay, automatically it will create. We are not going to do from BW, we are always going to do from BPC side. We have to create the object. Okay, this is a BPC front end application we have saw, and this is BW system also we have connected. And coming to this point, this one, a EPM office. So how do you connect the EPM office? So how do you connect means, there is, from BPC you can connect. Let me close all this. Here you just connect here. Once you log on the BPC system, you will be observing it. Beside the environment shell, there is one analysis for Microsoft Office is there. Analysis for Microsoft Office. Look at here. Whether you may place administration tab or consolidation tab, it's not a matter. Okay, but you will be seeing this EPM Office add-on. See here, it is connected to the 3-line items like Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So which one we need to connect here? We need to connect. If you want to look at our models, if you want to log in, we can connect from here. We can connect from MS Office from here. But this system has some problem. That is the reason we are not going to. It is not taking into the model connections. So what I do means I can connect from the normal Excel sheet. So just go to the desktop. Here he was provided one more connection link for the EPM Office. Just take this one, copy. Okay, go to the Excel. So where is this Excel? New Excel format. Open. forget about this. Okay, go to the here there are the two tabs you are observing, right? In the normal native Excel you don't find these two tabs, EPM and the data manager tab. EPM is for the reporting purpose, data manager for the to extract the data from the different source systems, like to run the packages. Something else we will do here, we'll discuss more about this. Just click on the EPM tab. Once you click on here, there is a log on button. Is there log on button? Once you click on there log on button, go to the connections, go to the create new connection, create. So once you copy it there, you have to paste this one, the URL link, the link which is provided by the administrator. This is the one link, the connection link. Copy and paste. So it is not accepting. Huh? Okay. Okay, we'll do one thing. Whatever it is there here, we'll take up the connection name, the same connection name. Let me take it here. Go and edit. Go and edit. Cancel. So take this one. That URL link and this one is same. Copy. Let me go and paste here. Yeah. Now go and connect. Uh, Here nothing, you are getting environment, and model you are not getting now. If you once you click on this button, it is asking the some credentials, your BPC credentials. It is asking. Once you do this, it is going to display your environment. This is environments. Environments are available in this remote desktop system. So our environment is the BPC class, and these are all the models. Finance model. I am taking the finance model. Click on the generate connection name. What will happen once I click on this? It is going to give the description in the connection name. Finance is the model and BPC is the class. If I was taking the sales here, is see here, observe generate connection name. The sales is the model name and BPC class is the environment name. So this is how we need to connect to the EPM office. EPM office. Once you click on this, so it is the connection as generated. This is the connection generated. You can click on this, select that one, click on OK. So again it is asking the credentials. EPC user 03. We have connected to the EPM office add-on. This is the model name is called as the finance model. Finance model contains the dimensions: audit trail, account, audit trail, category, entity, flow, RPT, currency, time. So where do we define this one? This was defined in the front-end administration like models. In the models, if you observe the finance model, go to the finance model. The finance model, how many dimensions you have there? Account, audit trail, category, entity, flow, RPT, currency, and time. So 3, 3, 6, 7. 7 dimensions are there. If you look at here, you'll be find the same dimensions, right? 7 dimensions are there. This is the measure one, is the standard one. You don't think about this measures. It is in standard, defined, predefined one. So this is the model EPM office connection name, right? So let us, you may observe you have any doubts to connect the EPM office, to connect the BW system, to connect the BPC front end, you can ask me so that I can clear out here itself. Next. So we are discussing about the, you have any doubts, so that if you raise that, I'm happy to explain. Otherwise I'll go to the next topic. Can I go for next topic? Yeah. So for example, in BW system, this is an BW system. Maybe I have drawn that pictures. Let me check that one. It is easy for me. Huh? Just give me a minute time. Presentations. Yeah, we have this one. So what I want to do is just I'm taking this one, copy, paste. Yeah, fine. So what is this? This is an info area. So assume this is an info area which I have created. Info area which I was created here. Forget about all these things. Let me take out this. Okay. This is an info area which I was created in the BW system. What is the info area? You know, right? How it looks? Info area means this is in a folder, like this is the double diagonal symbol is info area. BPC session 9 a.m. is one of the info area. You assume like this. Okay, this is info area which I was created. Right, in BW we can create as a standard object. Not for the, I'm not talking about the BPC now. I'm talking about the BW system. Okay, in info area I have created info area 1. I have created under this, I have created the info objects ABC. What is the info objects? Info objects means master data. I have created the master data. So what is the master data I have created? ABC is the master data I have created. ABC is the master data I have created. So what is the master data in the BW system? Like this is the master data, right? Account, audit trail, entity, category. This is the master data I have defined. Fine. And I have created one more, one cube. One cube I have created. What is that? Cube. Info cube I have created. P is the info cube. And I am utilizing for this cube A and C. A and C I am utilizing. I am utilizing the A and C here. A and C is I am utilizing the dimensions in this cube. So what is the utilization and means the assignment of the cube means, like say for example the consolidation is one of the cube. In this consolidation, if they click on manage, you will contain the info objects. Each cube will contain the info objects. See here, these are the info objects. These are the info objects. Scope, intercompany, entity. These are the info objects means master data. Master data I am utilizing. Master data I am utilizing. So A and C I am utilizing for the info cube. Assume this is the info cube and A and C is I am using, which is created in the one info area. Like I have created the one more info cube q, one more info cube q has created and assigned the info objects A and B. What is exactly happened here? Here exactly happened. Whatever I have created at the front end in the at the main info area one level, A B C I created and I am utilizing the A info object in the info cube P, and the same info object A utilizing in the info cube Q. Right? What it is happening? I am reusability. I am reusing the master data. Multiple times I am using the master data to my multiple cubes. Here I am utilized here. I have assigned the info cube P, and I am same here I have assigned to the Q. That's it. You got it. And the B also, B I am not utilizing here. In info area, in one info area, I am having authorization reusability of the master data multiple times to the multiple cubes. The point you need to understand that one. And if you coming to the info area 2, this is the info area 2. Okay, info area 2 I have created. Info objects I have created XYZ, and info cube I have created R. In this info area I have created the info cube and utilizing the X and Z. X and Z I am utilizing in the same info cube. same info cube, and I'm also utilizing the G for the info cube S, and I'm utilizing I am assigning this A from the info cube A, info area A. I am bringing from the info area 1, that means other info area I am bringing the info object A, and I am utilizing in the info area 2. So this is the possibility is there in the BW system. We can move the objects from one info area to the another info area, and we can utilize them. We can assign into the cubes. So you may understand this one. So what I am doing, not only we can assign the info objects in the info cubes multiple times, we can assign the info objects master data to the other info area, right? So this is the concept. This is possibility will be there in the BW system. If us coming to the BPC, the BPC possibility, BPC. If I'm looking to that slide, this one, this is the slide, right? Copy. Let me bring this one into this presentation, right? The same here, if you observe that, the same terminology in the BPC terminology, we can understand this BPC terminology. In BPC, this is the BPC. So here, info environment shell, we have created the one environment shell. Number one, we have created in the BPC. Under this, we have defined the dimensions ABC, and I have created the model P and model Q. I am utilizing the A here in the model P, and I am also assigned the same dimension, that A dimension, in the model Q. Here also reusability of the master data for multiple times for the multiple cubes we can define here. We can define. So here A and B, A is utilized here, and the B within the environment I can utilize. There is no point, there is no change in the point. Okay. So coming to the environment 2. In the environment 2, I defined dimensions XYZ. I am utilizing the X dimension to the model R. Okay. And the Z dimension I am utilized for here model R, and from here, and also utilized that the same Z dimension to the model S. So here also there was no problem. The only one problem is that I am defining my environment shell A is the dimension is to the model S in the environment shell 2. This is the point not available in the BPC. We cannot assign the other objects. We cannot assign the objects from one environment to the another environment. So this is not possibility in BPC. The same thing is possibility in BW. BW it can possible. BPC we cannot possible. The movement from the one environment to the another environment, we cannot move the objects from one environment to the another environment. The point here we need to understand that one. But in the BW we can move the objects from one environment to the another environment. Means like info area to the another info area. So hope you understand the point here. If you are not clear, please ask me. So tomorrow what we'll do, up to here we'll stop. tomorrow we'll go to the system and we will discuss about the dimensions. Today we already discussed the dimensions and we have created some dimension. Tomorrow we'll go and create the environment and the dimensions in the system at the back end what it is going to create, and we'll see some of the topics tomorrow. If you have any doubts now you can ask. I can send you the recordings and the PPTs to your mail IDs so that it will be having a good reference when you are going to practice or to have a reference. To just for reference you will be having. Okay. Each day I will record the session, and once the session is completed, I'm going to send to your mail IDs. So just send me your mail IDs in the chat box so that I can share this information to you.
సార్ రేపు క్లాస్ ఎన్నింటికి సార్?
9:30.
9:30కా? హలో
9:30.
ఓకే సార్.
9:30 to 10:30 the regular class.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the members are connecting at 9 o'clock and ask them to connect at 9:30 because of you are joining in this batch, right?
So
Yeah.
so it is for 1 hour, sir?
Yeah, daily 1 hour class.
1 hour, and for how many days?
So 40 days course. Daily 1
Okay.
hour, 40 days. So Monday to Friday you will be having the class.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can stop me there, and you can ask me. I can clarify. If you are, I am going little fast. You may let me know. I'm going a little bit. So you please, yeah, this is an interaction section because session. So once you was interacted, then you will be gain more from me.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you just please confirm your mail IDs. I can send this these sessions. So put your mail IDs in the chat box, or else put me. Okay, fine. Thank you.